Hello everyone! It's been a really long time since I've made a video like this, and this isn't a very comfortable subject. I didn't know how much longer I could keep something like this to myself. I've tried therapy with some success, but we have to save money where we can, and especially now given the situation that we're in. So we're kind of silently suffering through this, which is also pretty common. For those of you watching who aren't family or friends, hi, my name's Aisa. I am 25, turning 26 in a few months. My husband's name is Roger. He is 26, turning 27 at the end of the year. To me and to family and close friends, he is Anthony. So if I'm confusing you by using Anthony, sorry, Roger, Anthony, same person. We've been married since July 2017, and life since then has been a whirlwind of big decisions. In 2016, we graduated with our bachelor's degrees. We moved to Orlando, Florida in August 2017 to participate in the Disney College program at Walt Disney World. When that was over, we found really great job opportunities, and so we made a really big, scary decision to live here permanently in Florida. We were both born in Texas, and we lived there all our lives. We've also known each other for most of our lives. I was Anthony's little crush in the 7th grade ever since we met. But to me, he was always just my friend. We started dating after high school graduation in 2012. We did the long distance thing for the first year of college. And then Anthony made a huge sacrifice and transferred to my university so that we could live together. In January 2016, right before we finished college, I became pregnant. But it turned out to be an ectopic pregnancy, which is when the embryo implants or attaches outside of the uterus, which can be deadly. In my case, it was implanted in my right fallopian tube, and I received an injection of methotrexate to stop the pregnancy from growing. It was extremely devastating. I was depressed afterwards for about a year, although, that's not to say that I'm not over it now, but I think I've grown emotionally since then. So we graduated later that year, and now I'm back to the point where I started telling you about us. The most recent major adult thing we did was to buy our house. But I will confess that I put a lot of focus into buying our house to distract me from the fact that I wasn't getting pregnant. Another major life decision we made was to try and have a baby. We've been trying since August 2018, and I already knew that I was going to have problems. Anthony and I sat down and we had a really intimate and mature conversation about having a baby, and I said, look, this might take a while, so we should start now so that we can get help as soon as possible. Here's where it starts getting a little TMI, just so you know. I've had blood work done, lots of ultrasounds. I've had a sonohysterogram, which is when they pump a saline solution into your uterus so that they can see what the inside looks like while they do an ultrasound. I've had what's called an endoscopy, which is my cervix was numbed and dilated so they could put a camera inside my uterus and take pictures of what the inside looks like. I definitely don't recommend taking a needle to the cervix. It's incredibly painful. And I remember thinking to myself while I was having that done, I'm doing all of this just to have one baby. The one that broke me was a hysterosalpingogram, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's also called an HSG, and that's where they pump a dye through your uterus and your tubes to check and see if your tubes are open. Backtracking a bit, I had surgery in January 2019 to remove a large cyst that was attached to my tube. If it sounds painful, it wasn't at first. I've actually had it since about 2014, but the pain was getting to be pretty bad near the end, so I had surgery to remove it, and it couldn't be removed without taking part of the tube that it was attached to. So going into the HSG, I knew that I was going to hear that one tube at least was blocked, but it turned out that both were blocked. So that meant that my eggs had no way of being released into my tube so that they can be fertilized and become a baby. I cried about it a lot. I chose to deal with it later, and we got a house instead. So this is where we're at in our journey. We feel like we've done everything right. We have college degrees, full-time jobs, a beautiful house with a big backyard, and somehow it feels like we did something wrong. I had surgery not too long ago at the beginning of March to see if my other tube could be saved, but my doctor quickly realized that that wasn't going to be possible. They couldn't do anything about it, so they removed both my tubes. Now our only way to get pregnant is to start IVF, or in vitro fertilization. That's where they harvest my eggs and then mix them with Anthony's sperm, and they fertilize, and then they transfer the embryos back into my uterus, where hopefully they will implant and become a baby. And it sounds super simple when I explain it like that, and we would do it in a heartbeat if it didn't come with a $15,000 price tag. So we're stuck again, and we can't do anything about it. We've applied for a few grants that would help us cover the cost of IVF. So now we can only hope that someone will open their hearts to us. There are countless reasons this is such a difficult thing to process. I feel that a parent would do anything and everything for their child, but the cost of IVF is the only thing that's stopping us. Why am I sharing this? This is a deeply personal issue. It doesn't have to leave our house to bum anyone out, but I'm sharing because it's National Infertility Awareness Week. Infertility is a medical condition that millions of people experience. If you know me personally, I'm probably not the only person you know going through this. As it turns out, making a baby takes a lot of science and luck. Normal people usually don't have to think about it. On average, it can take up to a year for a healthy couple to conceive. I don't get to experience normalcy in this. No more peeing on sticks or wondering if what I'm experiencing is a pregnancy symptom. I only ache now. I hoped that one day this would be our baby's room. And I can only try to imagine what a nursery would look like in here. I don't really daydream about my kids anymore, which I used to do an embarrassing amount of. But I don't anymore because it hurts too much too. And it hurts more knowing that I've been pregnant before. And we're not gonna know who that baby was gonna be. Anthony and I are incredibly grateful and lucky to be where we are in life. We just want to be able to grow our family as normally as other people can, but we don't get to, because life can be unfair to anyone, no matter who they are. So now that you know what infertility can look like, please take time to learn how to be sensitive to infertile people. The words you say to them might sound nice and thoughtful to you, and the person might not be brave enough to tell you to your face to go fly a kite, but I can tell you for a fact that those words are only going to bring them down. I'll link to a website that has a list of examples of what not to say ever, but here are a few. Wow, why didn't I think of that? I'm cured. Yeah, man, it's a good thing mine died before I got too pregnant. Oh, it sounds like we dodged a bullet there. Yeah, like I could get pregnant and lose the baby. Oh, that already happened to me. This is just a straight up cruel thing to say, period. So God doesn't want me to have a child, but it's okay for them to be born to drug addicts and abusers. It's fine if you pray for me or pray for people in this situation, or if you tell them that you're going to pray for them, but don't tell them that God doesn't want them to be a parent. That's just rude. We're aware of the option. It's not a new thing, and it's definitely not an easy thing. No matter what, we're gonna adopt eventually. We just would like the chance to try and be pregnant with a child of our own. If it comes down to it, we will choose to adopt. I've been hit with all of these, some from my own mother. And she means well, and I'm sure you do too, but they don't help. I am not able to get pregnant on my own. I've accepted that. I can't do anything but accept it. And none of what you say is going to make it better or fix it. So instead, just say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. If you ever need me, I'm here for you. Even if you can't relate, it's okay to say that. Even just saying, that sucks, is better than all of those other things. I truly don't mean to offend anyone, but please think about the things you say before you say them. Things like teaching people what not to say to infertile people is why awareness is important. Nobody has the same experiences in life, and everyone has different hardships. We need to remember to be kind to each other. If you have kids, please hold them tightly for people like me who can't. If you're pregnant or your partner's pregnant, cherish every moment and marvel at the power of the female body to create life like that. If you're like me and Anthony, I'm sorry. This sucks. It's the worst club that no one wants to join, but we have each other. And if you need to talk, I'm always here. Thank you for listening to our infertility story. Please be kind to people like us who may be suffering in silence. And hopefully someday soon you'll hear happier news about the next steps in our journey.